Yeah, Jason Wygant here from Racer X. Well, we gave Daniel Blair and his Main Event Moto podcast all summer to screw up being a part of the Racer X podcast network, and maybe they did. I just never listened to the show. I mean, I don't know why you are. But either way, we didn't get any email complaints, probably because no one emails anymore. So we're going to keep the show as part of the Racer X podcast network. But first, a word from some sponsors. Air Medcare Network. What if you're hospitalized with an injury far from home? You'd want to recover close to family and friends, and with an Air Medcare Network Fly You Home membership, you'll have control of where you're treated. You'll be transported to your local hospital of choice with no out-of-pocket cost, and you can now save $10 with the offer code 10MOTO. That's 10MOTO. Visit airmedcarenetwork.com/RacerXoffer1. That's the number 1 to get that $10 off your membership. Essentially, it allows you, if you get injured at a race and you're not close to home, you can get flown back to where you live so you can work out of a hospital that's local, which is a lot more convenient for family and friends. Also by Maxxis Tires. You already know that Maxxis delivers the best tires for your bike, but did you know that Maxxis also offers high-quality tires for your car, light truck, trailer, ATV, mountain bike, and much, much more? Maxxis Tires will let you hook up, pull the whole shot, and beat your competition in any terrain or conditions. Just ask the king, Jeremy McGrath. To learn more, go to Maxxis, MAXXIS.com. And this podcast is sponsored by ETS Racing Fuels. With unmatched consistency and performance, ETS powers some of the most winning teams in motocross and supercross. You already know the riders and the team, but you probably don't know the fuel. Why? Because champions don't give away their secrets. But now with ETS's new online ordering system, you can have ETS Racing Fuel delivered right to your door, your shop, or the racetrack. So it's easier than ever to get ETS's championship-winning performance in your tank, whether you're racing 2 strokes or 4 strokes, 2 wheels or 4 wheels. Go to ETSRacingFuels.com and you will have your own winning secret to keep. ETS Racing Fuels, the most winning fuel you've never heard of. And now, on with the show.
Thanks for listening to Main Event Moto.
Skivvy Underwear, SKVI.com.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Ah, yeah, this is nice. Snuck out here to the public pool at night with the wood grain.
Team Skivvy, baby.
What was that?
Team Skivvy, baby.
What's up, Scummy? Founder of Skivvy Underwear, right?
Team Skivvy, baby.
Yeah, Team Skivvy.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Team Skivvy. Skivvy Underwear, I get it.
Team
you don't
Skivvy,
have to
baby.
keep saying
Team Skivvy,
it.
baby.
Dude, you're so... Man, just get off me. Let me go.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Hey, Scummy, you don't have to try to drown
Team
me.
Skivvy, baby.
Yeah, I get it. Team Skivvy.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Okay, all right. I'm going to get some Skivvy Underwear.
You're listening to the Main Event Moto podcast, powered by Nature's Bakery.
It's time for episode number 135 of the Main Event Moto podcast. Super excited to be in studio today with my man producer Joe. What's up, Joe?
What it is, Mike?
Where's my sheet with our list of sponsors? And what did you draw on this?
A penis. Sorry, wrong show. Superbad. We were watching Superbad.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We were. And that's not what you drew. Anyways. Threw me off my rhythm there early. All right, Nature's Bakery, Fly Racing, Skivvy Underwear, Mika Metals, Scott USA, No Toil, Honda Cowie KTM of Modesto, Guts Racing, EMT Racing, Keybar, Rep Racing, and Motosport.com. Joe, how we doing? It's cold, and I love that.
Yeah.
For 5 months, I've been complaining about the heat, and now it's our first cold day, and I want the heat back on. Why is it like that? Why is the grass always greener on the other side, no matter what? I've been fingers crossed, praying, doing dances for this weather, and now I'm over it in one day. I'm
Too hot, too cold. Yeah, I don't know.
just a baby.
It's just awesome.
Anyways, little update for you guys. Motocross of Nations is now complete. It finished about an hour and a half ago. Eric Nye's coming in studio next week to talk about it because he loves that race more than anything, and I can tell you right now, he is going to be in a week's worth of recovery before we get him in the show, on the show, Joe. So I'll touch on it really quickly before we bring in our in-studio guest. But we got whooped, dude. I wake up this morning at like 4 in the morning. I get on, and it's pure mutter. third year in a row, Motocross of Nations is just a complete swamp. And I don't even know what to say. Like, it's not even a real race. I've talked about before in Supercross, Motocross, when it's a mudder, it's kind of neat to watch, but it really doesn't mean anything. I mean, Justin Cooper waxed everybody in his qualifier on Saturday, and then today literally went like 60, 70 for 80th overall in the 250 class because of crashes and clutches and hurt wrist, and because it was a mud race. It was a mud race. It doesn't matter. All the work, all the hype, going over there for a month early, training in the sand, and the rain comes down and ruins it. It's a stupid, stupid day of racing. And how do you even break that down? Like, what do we even say, Joe? Nothing.
It is what it is.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, again, and I don't want to take away credit where credit's due. Justin Barcia won Anaheim 1 last year in the mud. Did that matter? At the end of the year, after 17 rounds, did that matter? Did anyone even remember? No, because it's a mud race. And mud races don't count. They do count in a championship for your points, but when it comes to actually breaking down an event and trying to dissect what went wrong or what went right, it doesn't matter. It was a mud race. And it's just stupid. What a waste. Think about it. All of our media over there hyped up behind this team, and I still give them credit. I mean, they did what they had to do to get ready, whatever, but then they get there and the skies open up and the whole thing's destroyed. It's just annoying. That's why I can't get too caught up in a race like that. A one-off. That's why I don't get too excited over the outcome of Monster Cup or Loretta Lynn's or the Motocross of Nations, because it's not a championship. It's a one-off day, and when the weather gets involved, it changes and ruins everything, and that's all I'm going to say on it. We'll talk to Eric Nye about it next week, and we'll break it down, I guess. But, God, what an absolute waste of time, effort, energy. And I've already wasted 3 minutes on it, and that's all I want to talk about it, at least today. So let's get our guest in, Joe. Let's bring this fool on.
And now, coming from No Maturityville, USA... he hates French people, but loves Malcolm Stewart. Put your hands together for Vincent Blair!
Ow! He's here, Joe. We let him back.
Yeah.
Vincent, quick pop quiz.
Hold on, I'm playing drums.
I know, he's Joe. There's air drums. Is he on time?
So on time. Oh, yeah.
You would know.
For sure.
Look at no kick drum, though.
He's got the rhythm.
He did no feet. It was just hands.
It's
Vince,
colder.
Quick pop quiz. Who rode for our Motocross of Nations team?
Cooper, Osborne, and El Hombre.
Justin Cooper or Cooper Webb?
Justin Cooper.
All right. I tried to get him, Joe. He obviously went on Instagram this
Props
morning.
Team Husky.
He obviously looked it up this morning. What's up, Vincent?
It's so cold.
It is. Hey, Joe, I went Friday night with Vincent out to pizza and some beers. And it was a good time. Some things we'll discuss. Obviously, some things that are going on in your life that are...
Oh, God.
Yeah, we'll get there. I don't want to... Let's not just start there.
Let me drink my coffee first.
Yeah. But anyways, I want to do the show a little bit different today, Joe, since we are not going to actually cover the Motocross of Nations because it happened an hour ago.
Good.
Yeah, so I don't want to talk about that, obviously. I will say one more thing, though, on that. I feel like the motocross gods are sending us a message. 3 years in a row, mud race. Joe, the motocross gods have decided that we shouldn't even do this race no more. You know why? Because all it is a money grab show. And it ain't a money grab for us. It's a money grab for the guys that put it on. And it's just a show. It's the MXGP. It's the last round and then 0.5 of the last MXGP. I think it's overhyped. I think it's just a big money grab. It's not the same.
Well, do they
as
make
it used to
money?
be. Who? Our riders?
Just
No.
the promoters, the race, the people who do it all.
What do you mean do they make money?
Yeah.
Of course they do.
Well, then they're going to keep doing it.
I know they are.
Don't give a
I'm saying the
shit.
United States. We should get over it. We should start the Supercross of Nations.
This is the
and
worst
make
trade
Make
deal.
Monster Cup the Supercross of Nations and invite all the other countries to come on over. Come on over. It won't rain.
Just pull a Trump.
It won't rain.
We're out.
It'll be dry. Hey, we'll even make the track all mellow. We'll bring sand in. We'll make the whole track sand in Monster Cup. How about that? With Supercross triples. Come on over. It'll be dry.
Go race in Hawaii.
In fact, it could be America versus the world. You can bring your 3 best. And we'll bring like our D team and race your best.
Wow.
On the Supercross of Nations.
The Supercross of Nations.
Think about it. We will literally pick our 3 worst factory riders and put them against the best 3 from around the world. Roczen and Musquin don't count. That's not fair. They're here. They're American.
No, they're
Now,
not.
They are now.
You could
They-
have a cool Supercross of Nations if they get to race
I know.
for their.
Actually, that would be cool, though. Imagine Germany, let Roczen run the German flag and put together a team of German Supercrossers. They got some guys over there that are good. France, they got guys. You take Marvin, Ferrandis, and then America, Supercross of Nations. Let's do it. It'll be dry. Won't be a waste.
I want to ride it. I'll be on Team Ireland.
You will?
Yeah.
You're probably one of their best three, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be feeling good, dude.
I'll come back. I'll ride for Puerto Rico.
Ain't
Actually, no, I
nobody's
can't do
fluff.
Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rican team this year had good guys. They probably would have got fourth in the Supercross of Nations. Justin Starling and whoever else went with them. Anyway, sorry about my negativity. It's just I woke up at 4 a.m. to watch, and I was excited, and it was just lame. But whatever. Let's move on. So what I wanted to do on this show, Vincent, was give you the opportunity to defend yourself.
Oh, no.
Look, Joe, Vincent's got a high rating to some, a low rating to others, and I get people that write me all the time and say, dude, I don't know why you have your brother in there. He doesn't know anything. And when it comes to current events, I will say you're a little off. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't pay attention all the time.
But when it comes to actual credibility, Joe, doesn't Vincent deserve the right to defend himself? Doesn't he know some things?
Everyone deserves the right to defend themselves.
Yeah, we're in America.
Okay, well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to allow you to tell your story, and I thought it'd be fun actually just to kind of revisit some stuff because your career was like extremely different than most.
Why is that? Why do you think that?
For the reasons you're going to find out about in the next hour. It's a lot different.
Oh, man. I'm going to lose my voice.
Are you going to be yelling? Are you going to be mad?
I don't know. Just talk for a whole hour.
No. We'll have some fun with
Okay.
it. But and then just in my opinion, I look back and I remember at the time when you decided to be done racing and go home, you're going to go to school, and I'm like, okay. And now I look back and, dude, you're smart. You're smarter than most. Most will ride it out forever. And by the time they are, I guess, over it and ready to make a life move, it's a little too late. And they're, for me, again, I've said it before on the show, Joe, I lucked out. My timing was just lucky that I landed what I landed at that magical time. A year earlier or a year later, it would have never worked out. And I don't know what I'd be doing right now. Like,
Well, it was
none
meant to
of
be
this. No, it was. But you took the initiative on your own to quit early at a young age when you're still physically in your prime and be like, I'm over it. I'm going to go to school.
So where do you want me to start?
I'll start it for you. I just got to get this cough out.
Damn, dude.
Sorry.
Be careful, bro.
I didn't have a water this morning.
Oh,
Huh, Joe?
that's right.
I have my coffee in my
Anyways, all
Yeti.
right, let me ask you this first off, Vince. Honest question. And you couldn't answer it back then because you were a kid and you don't know, but now you look back. Did you race because I raced and because we had a track in our yard and that's what we did? Did you? I look back and I feel like you always were into it when I was. Whenever I would get hurt, you would quit for a while. You really barely ever did it on your... I mean, you did it with me. Was this a hang with your big brother thing? I mean, and there's a lot of little brothers that are that way. They'll ride because their big brother does a cousin does. But I just don't really look back and ever see, other than the 1 year in Arenacross where you took things very, very serious, I really don't look back and ever see a time where you were really like doing it because you were intent on doing anything other than just kind of doing it. Were you ever, now that you can look back?
Well, naturally, no matter what, it's you're for sure true. It's true when you think of it. If I'm just this little kid and I'm growing up and I'm watching dad and I'm watching brother ride dirt bikes, you're automatically gonna, be attracted to it, right? And that's kind of why. I mean, we can get to it later, but with my kids, I'm doing something a little bit different, right? But I'd say it's like half true because kids aren't gonna not like dirt bikes, especially if you start getting good at it. It's super fun, especially at a younger age because you're not getting hurt yet.
Which again, and you were good at it. On a 50, you won. You won Whitney. You won the World Minis. You won the 50 class when you were 8 years old. So and at 8 years old is when you're starting to understand what success is and what it feels like to be like a winner and have people like tell you you're good. So I know you liked that. You got to run a number one plate and all
I've
that.
always had a little bit of a, not a cocky towards others, but just cocky towards the general side of the sport. So like the year I did win World Mini and I went back the next year, with the same that was back in the day when PW 50s were all modded.
Yeah, the Yamaha 50s with the 65 pipe,
right,
and the big forks and shock. I mean, they were sick back then. Those were like the most freakish bikes ever. Was turning a P-dub into a mod. They were insane.
Bigger
looking,
swing arm,
super
bigger
fast.
motor, bigger exhaust, bigger handlebars, and anyways, at World Mini, I was one of like 5 or 6 PWs, but like Michael Alessi,
Millsaps,
they were on the LEMs and the Cobras.
The first year of the Cobra, I'm pretty sure.
Alessi was on the Cobra. But see, here's the weird situation with me, because every generation, if you've noticed, there's little gaps, right? So you had Carmichael, and then Pastrana, and then Stewart, and then it was Millsaps and Alessi, basically. There was a couple other games.
There's usually like little gaps in between one year.
I was
year,
in
2
between
year.
that gap. So every amateur national, I was either A, getting seconds and thirds behind Stewart
and Jimmy Nelson.
And then the next year, I would win because I was older than Josh Grant, Michael Alessi, Millsaps, and a couple other kids. I forget. They're not really around it. One kid died, remember?
Brandon
Layton.
Yep. Which, by the way, Joe,
was,
you don't even know. There's this kid, Brandon Layton, that would have been... He was a year and a half younger than Stewart, and he would beat Stewart. And Stewart was like the baddest amateur.
He passed away at a really young age.
Yeah, like...
And it wasn't his fault.
10 or 11 or something.
Horrible
like
story.
Wow.
If anyone wants to Google that. I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway, so...
like one of the worst, saddest stories ever.
So I already had like a weird situation. So I was never expected to beat Stewart. Duh. Okay? And then the next year... I'm expected to beat everybody because I'm older. Right? And it's just kind of like that. And I did beat them. But back to the story, so I won World Mini on the PW. The next year, I was the only PW left in that little genre because all the Cobras are coming out.
Yeah, the Cobras came out, Joe, the little Cobra 50,
and
which changed the 50 game all the way, and the PW became like an extinct dinosaur overnight because you couldn't jump them like you could jump the Cobras.
No, I bent my frame.
Yeah.
At the end of the week.
Damn.
He literally went to Lake Whitney.
I was doing like these 50-foot tables, dude, fully pinned on a 50 and just casing it, not caring, because Millsaps was just out of the inside. No problem. Anyways, I got offered to run the number 1 plate at Whitney, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to win this shit. You know what I mean? And I did. I barely won. I don't think I won one moto, but I pulled the whole Dungy thing. I got second every single time.
They're all crashing out. Cobras, front wheels falling off.
Yeah, the Cobras weren't very reliable at the time.
They were just like little
That
rocket
strategy works, you know?
The Dungy program works, man.
Yeah.
God, what?
Are you dying?
Yeah, for no reason.
Some guy in your throat, bro.
Yeah. There's a in your throat.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Don't say that, man. There's children listening to this show.
Okay.
Wrong show.
Anyways, so I loved motocross, and obviously I fell into it because of you guys, but it wasn't like, I don't give a damn. It wasn't until maybe 12 or 13 when I started doing other things, like other sports. My friends were doing other things, and then whatever.
Yeah, your interest kind of went pretty broad. You went into like everything. But I never remember you being, again, I got hurt a few times here and there. And then your bike would just get cobwebs when mine. I remember looking back and being like, you never went out and like did your thing. Like the track would get overgrown if I wasn't riding it because you wouldn't ride it.
There was maybe a few times in my life where I was focused on it for myself. But the shittiest part, if you want to fast forward it through 80s and all that stuff.
Well, there was nothing on 65s, nothing on 85s, really, until... But you went on big bikes pretty young, too, because I remember you racing like 125 beginner class and you were like 12.
No, I was 125 intermediate class when I was 12.
He's beginner, Joe.
No.
I remember you got taken out by... Who was the guy that was like my age that took you out?
The only time I raced 125 beginner was when I was on my 80.
That's what I'm saying. You're skipping further than that. I remember...
I would race that.
Gary Ludlam.
Oh my God.
Took you out in the 125 beginner class because Vincent was...
I paid him back a few times.
Yeah, in later years, he got it back.
I speared his ass.
But anyways, yeah, so you got on big bikes pretty young.
I had a
really
growth spurt
young.
way too quick, so I couldn't ride 80s anymore. No way. So then I got on 125s, and then I grew that out really quick. But the cool part was, since I was big, I got fast. And
because you always race with people older than you too. After
Yes.
that, once you got off or little bikes, the age doesn't matter as much anymore because back then it wasn't like schoolboy. It was beginner, novice, intermediate, pro. So you were forced to race against people 3-4 years older than you because you were big.
Yeah, so the local kids I would race against, and we would win, or they would win, I would win, whatever. When I got on big bikes, they were still on 80s. By the time they got on big bikes, I was already a pro.
Right.
And it was like a huge step forward. Good thing and a bad thing out of that. The good thing is obviously you get really fast and you learn a lot and all that stuff. The bad part is you never learn how to win and dominate, right?
Yeah.
I never, other than when I was on 50s, I never dominated anything ever again for so long, right? But the good part of it was that I was 14 years old on a Yamaha 426 getting like thirds and fourths in the local pro class against like Rusty Holland and oh my God, what's Hombre's mechanic?
Chris Laredo.
I was totally brain farting. He was racing
Pastana.
Pastana, Billy Jarovich, Scott Davis, Mike Mason, all these dudes that I would look up to. They were like adults to me, and here I am battling with them over like in like 1 or 2 years. And then the 450 Honda came out, and that's when I hit a huge gain where I would like you could admit it right now on live television that
on Main Event Mode, which is very similar to live television.
Yeah.
Yes,
that I was faster than you. When I got that Honda, hold on. When I got that Honda 450,
all right,
I don't know what you were on.
Great show, guys. First sign of lying, we shut the mic off.
Admit it now. The day I broke my leg, the day the bike seized in the air, the day that I finally, for once, had a moment of, this is me kind of thing.
Yes. Okay. So, Joe, Vincent was, and I think you were 15 at that point.
I was 15.
Gets on a Honda 450, which is like a newer bike, and they had this this air release thing back then to start. The bikes were weird. They weren't like now where you get electric start. There was like a release switch to like let air to kick
mini lever to let cold air in.
And the Honda one had this weird thing where it would break. It was like they were malfunctioning all over the place. And Vincent is at our house. We had an outdoor track with a bunch of people over, and I will admit, he gets off the Yamaha, gets on the Honda.
I probably was faster than Carmichael that day.
No, here we go.
At that track?
From here on out, everybody take everything Vincent says with a grain of salt.
All I know is that I never let off on a 450 on our outdoor track.
Vincent was the fastest he ever went in his life. He was 15,
life.
And the bike straight gets this like malfunction with the air release, sucks the air out on the face of this like 80-foot double we had at our house, and he goes over the bars. And I mean, I come around because I'm like on the other half of the track. I come around and everyone's running over there, and I'm like, oh man, like who's gonna ruin our ride day? Like it's a perfect day, weather's overcast, track's good dirt.
Everything was lining up, Joe. Everything. Every single thing that you could possibly have for motocross was lining up for me.
And the bike
right
broke off the jump.
The worst jump you could ever do it, bike locks up in the air.
Wow.
So he goes down, breaks. Is that why you still have the bent leg?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you know.
Which bent leg? So I snapped my tib fib. What?
Huh? What? Just go.
What? Oh. So I snapped my tib fib in half. I'm 15. And which means for our surgeon, he says, do not put a nail through it because that's a growth plate issue. So they do a closed reduction surgery, which means they don't open me up. They try to just manipulate it and put a cast on, and it was a full leg cast, and it just set me back so bad.
Which at the same time, though, was the start
of playing guitar.
So he's 15, can't ride for a while, and he's probably deep down pumped about it. Doesn't have to ride for a while.
Like, what else are you going to do?
What else are you going to do? He literally...
I had to sit in bed for 3 months.
Yeah, and my dad had an old guitar.
Sounds like heaven.
Now, in our mid to late 30s, that sounds great.
I wish I had that excuse.
I know.
So he's out. He grabs a guitar that my dad had and a little mini amp, and that's where he started playing guitar, right then and there at 15. And which is crazy that a lot of musicians that, they'll start really, really, really young. And I know Vincent has this obsessive personality where he gets into something, he goes crazy, like we're seeing with golf.
I'm a perfectionist, and I have OCD and ADHD.
And he bugs everyone. Well, he did the same thing with music at 15, and that's a little late to just go, let me see how this thing works. You know what I mean? And then
No, it's not. You're in that Motohead space where you got to start jumping
really
when running whoops at 3 years old.
Dude, McGrath didn't ride a dirt
15
bike
is
till he was
fine.
12 or something, right?
15's fine to pick up
Different time.
guitar. Most people pick up guitar in early high school days and get
really
going. Yeah.
Well, I guess I was a little naive on that one, but
Moto dads.
Yeah,
always,
you're an idiot.
Moto dads always want to start things at like 2 years old. Yeah, like
I did that with Gio with the golf clubs.
there you go.
so
It's not a bad thing. It's just
no. But so what year did you race Mammoth?
that next summer.
The next summer, so 16-year-old year. Then.
So they recalled the hot release lever, and we fixed the bike up because it was hammered.
yeah, because that happened like early fall. Oh, when did that happen?
It was in the fall. I was actually 14 at the time.
Oh, that's
almost
right.
15.
That's
I was
right.
turning 15.
That's right. So you're 14, turning 15, then break the
Yeah.
leg, and then
Because
Mammoth is the
16 you
next
get your
June.
pro license.
Yeah, so Mammoth is the next June, and I just remember that being a race where you did really, really well.
Right. So
in the Open 500 whatever pro class,
Open
at
pro class.
15 years old on a Honda 450,
yeah, I got 12th overall.
which was and back then Mammoth was. Now it's more of an amateur race. Back then, more good guys would do it.
I know that Richie
stacked.
Owens went 1-1 on a KX 500 two-stroke.
Yeah, he was cheating.
He's
though.
such a cheater, dude.
Yeah, the 500 two-strokes back then would
Hey,
kill
he made
the
it look
450s
like
back
Jeff
then.
Ward's bike too. It was dope. And what's cool about pro class is the yellow plates when you're a pro there that year. It was so cool. The Cowie with the yellow plates and the old bike, and he was just gone. He was lapping people.
Yep.
But yeah, I had a whole year basically, or a whole season of Supercross, and then spring, and then summer hits. Right, so I start riding again, and that bike was so good, and I'm bigger. I start going to the gym now, and I started getting really fast. We were going to the 4-stroke nationals, and I was getting top 10,
Yeah.
a couple sixths, and like fifths.
Joe, 4-stroke nationals there used to be because they were new. So there was a guy who ran a series. It was a 4-stroke national series, and they would go all over these second-tier kind of tracks, and guys would race them because the bikes were coming in, but they weren't in yet. Everyone was still on 2-stroke 250s. So they had a 4-stroke national series that would go to Gorman, Honey Lake. Where else?
Dude,
did they go?
Honey Lake.
Honey
That
Lake
was the first year I
awesome.
beat Mike Mason. Hey, Mike. I passed you twice. You were arm pump.
Well, he was probably
big money at
he was-
these 4-stroke nationals.
They were pretty good.
Good money.
Yeah,
especially
and-
for a 15-year-old.
yeah,
No doubt, right?
like $30.
That's why I turned pro, because I started making money.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
And got
money-
to keep it. Think about being
Right.
15
Yeah.
years old and racing pro and getting to keep all your money. Like, that's a
money
badass
at a young
time.
age, dude.
Buy rims for your truck you don't even have
for
yet.
your Extreme S10.
Yeah, for the
I ended up doing that. I saved up. I think I got like a laptop or something.
So that's 15, and then the next year is turning 16.
So
and
yeah, here we go.
Okay.
So I was at a really high life, and the bike destroyed my leg, okay? It wasn't my fault at all. 100% not my fault. So it was kind of easy the first time. We're like, hey, I wasn't doing anything wrong. Okay, let's just stick to the program, okay? So we're racing the 4-stroke nationals.
Bad luck. That'll never happen again.
Yeah. So then things keep going really well. I'm getting top 5s in these races, and the main point of all of this was because I won my pro license at 16, and I wasn't going to go to any more amateur nationals.
Yeah, you were done with that.
And before, you guys don't realize this, but in order to get a pro license, especially at the age of 16, which was pretty rare, you needed like letters of recommendation by certain people.
to turn into the AMA
Yeah.
to confirm that you're worth getting a license. That's how it worked. And
And
that's,
you needed a minimum of 2 recommendations.
And I remember that summer, too, you went back onto the 250.
Because the Yamaha 252 stroke
Yamaha-
or 4-stroke came out.
Yeah, the Yamaha 250F comes out, and I know you got one, and I remember racing Los Banos. This is obviously back in my prime of prime money-making days, Joe. And Vincent's racing pro also on a 250 racing. And back then it was weird because fast people would show up at these fair races, like Justin Buckley was riding for Mitch Payton Pro Circuit.
That's the first time Mitch Payton heard about me.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Dude, he's coming back from injury. He wants to race a little bit before he comes back to the Nationals, so he goes up to Los Banos to race the fair and like get some gate drops. And there's 15-year-old Vincent who is racing pro and beating everyone's ass in the 250 class at 15. And you got to remember, nowadays at 15, and it's not fair to compare all the way, but Max Volan just won Loretta's. He was 16 on a Super Mini. Vincent was racing 250 and 450 Pro at 15. Winning and beating factory riders on factory bikes that were showing up at local Supercross races.
Yeah.
So, different time, of course, but it still puts it in comparison that, I mean, how much things were different back then. At the sport don't even look like that anymore.
So I'm building my resume, and things are looking good again. And I'm staying on my program. I'm getting in better shape. I'm getting stronger. Testosterone is flowing by that time. And the whole goal is to get that pro license so I could race rookie year as a 16-year-old. Which is
and his birthday is end of October, so he's turning 16 in October, and then we'll go right into Anaheim.
Yep. And so we decide to start riding the Yamaha T50 4 strokes only. We get the 450s away, which is a huge boost for me because I was like, wow, this little bike. I've been riding outdoor on a 450. Now I'm riding Supercross on a 250. This is the greatest thing ever. I take like another step, and I don't know if you guys will start learning this pattern, but things start lining up so good. I remember Talon was on PC at the time, Talon Bolin, and he was riding on our track, and I was basically the same lap time as him. It's my home track, obviously, but he's on a 125 because 125s are still around. And but for a 15-year-old who's almost 16, just basically able to ride all the Supercross tracks, full blown, hitting whoops, everything, doing the triples, everything, it's perfect. We decide the week before round one, when I just got my license, we decide to go to Lake Elsinore's Supercross track.
Which is where everybody rode, all the factory riders. It was, the test tracks existed, but everybody, it's like Milestone Supercross track is now. Lake Elsinore had one that everybody rode. Yamaha, Troy, Pros, every factory rider was out there every day. Langston, this is when Langston just started coming around on KTM factory. And I'll be honest, Joe, straight up, I'm 20 years old. I'm getting ready to go into a good season for me, which ended up being a good season for me. I was leading heat races that year. I did really well. Vincent was my speed, and he just turned 16.
Wow.
And that's why, again, I'll say this right now. I'm not afraid to admit it, as much as I want to trash you because it's fun. If Vincent had my interest in the sport and
better luck,
he would have went way further than I would have went. He was bigger, stronger, better racer, less fear. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of anxiety. He didn't really have that. So again, not to fluff you right to your face, but
it's fine. I know
the hand that was dealt really screwed things up for you. But Vincent was on his way. I mean, to being 16-year-old rookie and being probably legit, probably a top 10 guy. Right out of the gate as a 16-year-old rookie, so privateer.
There was two reasons why we went there. One, to see...
And I hate admitting that.
Well, there was two reasons. One was to see how I looked with factory guys. That this is basically like the factory test track for anyone that could go to, right? So it was like a way to see where you are. And then the second reason was to get our bikes dialed in, because there was jetting back in the day. I don't know if anyone remembers that. Jetting on 4 strokes was kind of tough, especially when you're running a big bore. And running race gas and all that, you know, it's kind of hard to jet a bike because I had a big bore at the time. We couldn't afford race bikes.
The time, you mean at all time?
It was cheaper. I'm sure how many privateers had big bores? I mean, come on. People who couldn't afford it.
I had them at a lot of different times.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
I didn't have them all the time.
Lie.
I didn't have them all the time, but this was the time.
$400 for a bike that was as good as you could spend $5,000 on one. I mean, I don't have $5,000
or 6 horse.
Especially for us, we were financially taking care of ourselves. Like Vincent was 16, paying for his own life. I was, from the moment I was pro at 16, I paid for everything. Out of my own pocket, financed my own bikes.
Yeah,
everything. I didn't have the money to go spend $5,000 on a motor that's gonna have to be rebuilt in 10 hours. No, I'll put a big bore and last 50 hours. You know what I mean? That was just, it was just simple math.
So anyway,
they weren't even that good. They actually kind of sucked in a way. They just gave you enough to not be a pig.
They were good for whoops, basically. You can have more power through them.
All right, so Lake Elsinore.
We're getting the jetting dialed. I'm going through the track. Everything's really good. It was like my 5th or 6th lap, and there was like a really small triple. It wasn't a big one, but it was like cement dirt, right? And it was like a little jump on, jump off. And right when I went jump on, jump off, and when I landed on that little thing right before the face, the bike did like one of those little hiccup. And I had no speed. And I had to commit to it still, and I tried to do it. And came up just perfectly short where there was no forks or shock. It was just frame dirt.
Frame on landing.
And left forearm, dude, radius on up. Straight through. And didn't even crash. Just cased it so bad my bones went, it didn't compound, but it was sticking. It would look like a giant S. So I ride back to the van and we go straight to the hospital and had surgery that night.
Wow.
And it was like a week before round 1.
Oh, man.
And I'm like prime, dude, ready to go. So I'm like, here we go. I did nothing wrong except bike failure, right? And had to watch the whole Supercross season as my first year, you know, with a pin in my arm.
Damn.
Then I started kind of growing a little bit of like what I have developed now.
Resentment.
A little bit of animosity and just a big WTF with you know, the sport, you know. And so I heal up pretty quick. You know, when you're a kid, you heal up really fast. But I ended up pulling the pin out myself.
Ooh.
Remember, you almost passed out.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I had to sit down. I got hot. And
Why did you do that?
Because I wanted to ride again, and I would play with it with the pin sticking out, and it did like a full
yeah,
twist.
he had like an exterior
I was like,
pin
it's not
where it like
it's not connected. So I went and grabbed some needle nose pliers and just pulled it right out.
Jeez.
And he almost fainted.
I got hot and had to sit down.
I would have too, bro. I'm right there with you, DB.
So grody,
Don't worry
man.
about that.
Sorry, Dr. John D. So then
Jeez,
I
boy.
pull that thing out, and then sure enough, you know, obviously we went to see him, we x-rayed it, and he's like, okay, 3 weeks, don't do anything. 3 weeks later, start putting pressure, like push-ups, stuff like that. And another 3 weeks or so, you can ride again. So what do I do in 3 weeks?
Right
Start
again.
riding again, right? And it was like at the end of the season, but they started doing 4-stroke nationals. And I was like, I had a 450 Yamaha at the time, so we decided to go out there just for fun. You know, I don't care. I'll qualify for the race and just get back into shape, have
just
fun,
race
ride
laps,
whatever.
race laps.
Well, sure enough, I whole shot the qualifier and get like second. So I have third or fourth pick on the first moto. And I'm like, oh, here I am, like feeling the fire again.
Right. You wet your beak a little bit. Now
A
you
little
wanna,
bit, and-
now you want to go.
Well, it was like an oops. He accidentally did better than he thought. Went, oh,
Yeah.
well,
So
while I'm here.
I get like a fifth
Not
or sixth.
accidentally. Give him some credit.
No, it was an accident.
Yeah. I get like a fifth or sixth place start, and I'm out of shape, right? So I'm hanging on top 10, and then I start fading. And if anyone ever seen one of those races, about top 20 back, there's some goons. And I'm starting to fade into the goon zone, right?
Oh, no.
And sure enough, dude, this one guy kind of swaps in the air, and I hit him in the air, and then I fall right on my arm and re-break it.
Wow.
But it wasn't like a really bad break. So my surgeon was like, all right, I'm screwing you over for 6 weeks. He gives me a full arm cast all the way up to the shoulder. So what do I do later that night? I cut that bitch down to where all you had was like that bottom piece on the forearm. I wrapped it up and went like straight to the gym because it wasn't really a bad break.
Yeah.
Like I could still move my arm and stuff. So I was being very rebellious, like, no, I'm not letting this screw me again, you know, kind of thing. And then I just went to the gym for 6 weeks and healed up. And that was kind of like the end of breaking my arm. But it was like that kind of moment where I started becoming rebellious against like what I should do. And at the same time, kind of hateful at what's going on in the situation. So it was like a good and bad thing because I started building like this like real big kind of anger towards it. And then I want to say like maybe starting the next year is when I started kind of releasing it to others, especially you. Sorry.
And we'll get to that when we come back from the break. And when we return, more with a story of Dirty Joe.
Main event moto.
Let's be real. Kids and adults like things that taste good. What if you had a food that tasted unreal and was healthy?
Dad, get me some Nature's Bakery.
What flavor, Evan?
Any, duh.
Seriously, my kid is a pain when it comes to track snacks, but since we started eating Nature's Bakery, it's gotten a lot easier.
But Dad, don't you always call Mom a track snack?
That's not what I mean, Evan. Make sure you eat Nature's Bakery when you're at the track. Convenience is everything to us in the Batcave, and that's why we rock a key bar and no toil filters. Trust producer Joe, you're sick of that jingle jangle in your pocket.
Yes, sir. Just go get a key bar, like your Bat Bros.
And if you're not using no toil filters, you probably still have a flip phone. They make one of the worst bike chores easy. Throw the filter in the wash machine with your ladies' panties, and they'll never be cleaner. Get with the program and get a key bar and switch to no toil.
Pay attention, Motoheads. I'm a picky SOB, especially when it comes to products on my son's bike. That's why we run Mika bars, sprockets and chains, and a gut seat cover, and it's not even negotiable. Look, if you care about quality and performance on your bike, you'll be running Mika metals and gut seats and covers. And if you don't, you're a what, Evan?
A noob like Uncle Vincent.
Main Event Moto Podcast.
And we're back with Joe Dirt, who is living in the Batcave as we speak. It's a great movie, by the way.
Oh, classic.
All right, so Vincent, we're gonna speed into the next chapter.
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
At this point, again, your animosity is high.
Yeah.
You hate the sport. You've been dealt 3 bad hands, and you've now decided that you're gonna do it because you don't really know what else to do. You are making some money. You're getting to the age now, 17, 18. You're getting into this time where you're starting to
Well, I
pull
haven't even raced
chicks.
Supercross yet.
Oh, that's right. You haven't even got there yet.
But we'll get through that really quick.
Okay.
So I get healed up, and I try to set it aside, but I'm starting to build this, like, F you attitude. Okay, I'm going to be G-rated. But I started really not caring about almost every part of it other than just, like, let's go do this kind of thing. It was starting to become like a job, really, making the money, like you said. But finally, I get to race Supercross.
He's 17 at this time, and he's over it. It's just a job, Joe. It's just a job.
Yeah. So I decide to homeschool. I decide to homeschool my senior year of high school and get done. It was a charter school, so I could finish early and be graduated with high school before round 1. And that's when we got the LBZ deal.
Yeah.
Which is another addition to the NFG lifestyle I had, which is kind of fit me. Anyways, we decided to race.
Let me set this up real quick, Joe. So we get a box van, and we are going on the road.
No, this is West Coast first. We didn't decide to do that yet. But well, you were, but I wasn't.
I was going to do the whole series no matter what. I got a box van. I'm going to race both classes all year. I'm going, and Vincent was just going to do the West Coast 250 Supercross. And I'm going all 17. 2004, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 2004. And yeah, I'm going to go do the whole thing. Vincent is 17, and he's going to finally get to do his debut in Supercross.
And I'm training hard. And I've always been lucky to have Talon Volan and Steve Lamson always coming over to our house, right?
In their prime, when they're like
huge
winning,
benefit for me.
When they're winning nationals and Supercrosses and championships, they were coming to our house to prep.
And I think they liked it too because they knew that I was good at my house. Duh. So they would do like, you do a start, and I'll give you a half a lap lead, and we'll do a heat race, and I have to pass you, and you have to hold me off. And that was like the training we did.
Half a lap or half a straightaway?
Like a half a lap, or I mean, I don't whatever.
6 laps will get you a half a lap.
Okay, whatever. I don't know. Maybe whatever it was. I don't.
Everyone listening is like, oh, he's not really as good as he says. They gave him a half a lap in a 6-lap moto and still caught him.
Maybe it was the main.
No, we would do 20s. All of us together,
20s.
And we would all stay about dead even the whole time. And when they would catch you, you would hold them off, or I would hold them off.
Maybe it was a 20 lap.
They were using us as young, feisty kids on 4-strokes.
But it's so good for someone like me. So then when I get to the race, and I'm like, the guy who's basically going to win races, I'm holding them off at my house. It gives me some motivation. So we're driving to Anaheim round 1. Nothing's happened yet. I'm primed. I'm feeling good. I'm wearing the studded belt LBZ, middle fingered barbed wire. I give no let's go and do this. And the day before we leave, I get the flu. And it's a bad one, dude. I'm throwing up, fever. And my dad's like, that, we're going. You might feel better by then. Because he kind of starting to feel the same vibe. What is going on with this kid?
Yeah.
Anytime things are lining up. So we get there, and obviously I missed round 1. Because I'm sick as hell.
Sits in the box van and just throws up all day and doesn't race. Round number 1.
Just there. Because we were going to Phoenix from there to race. So I'd be better by then. So I'm feeling better. We go to Phoenix, and I get food poisoning. And I'm throwing up like 2 days before Saturday. But I felt better, so we decided to race. So it was my first ever Supercross, Phoenix Supercross. And that was back in the day when there was day qualifiers. And I had, who was that PC rider?
That's a tough question to answer. Oh my God.
He was an older guy, but he was still around. What was it? It was when Gosler and Hanny.
Ramsey? No. I have no idea.
Man, I'm so brain farting. It was like his last year of PC, but he was really good. But he had to do day qualifiers. And I hole shot and held him off the whole way and qualified for the race. And he ended up passing me like the last lap, but I qualified at second place. So I had a good spot for the next day. Right?
Because this was all done the day before, Joe.
Day qualifiers.
Yeah.
Or no, it was that night.
No, yeah, because
Outdoors
we would get practice on Fridays, and then Saturday was the race, but you would do day qualifiers just to get into the night program. It wasn't just
it was
the
a day
40
qualifier.
fastest. The top 10 were seeded into the night program, and everyone else had to qualify into the night
It wasn't
program
lap
even to
time
race.
based. It was race. You had to race, which was cool. So I got in there and I was like, yeah, I feel great, but I was still kind of sick and whatever. So I didn't make the main that night. But it was finally, here we go. We're starting to do this. And then we go back to Anaheim. And I was in qualifying position in the night show, and I ended up like crashing into Sleater, I think. We both kind of tangled. So I didn't make a main. But every time in practice, my lap time was probably like 10th or 11th of everybody. 10th, 12th. I was always top 15. So I'm like, I can make the main. I can make this main. Go to San Diego. That was the night you were killing it. Remember you hole shot and got like third or whatever in the heat?
Yep.
And I qualified at like 9th fastest that day. Didn't make the main. I was just making dumb mistakes, whatever. I was like, shit. So finally I qualified for my first main at my home race in San Francisco. Out of the heat, got like 4th or something. It was sick. And
we both made
it was
it
like a milestone. Yes, I finally qualified. And then that's when it's like, dude, you're just starting to feel it. You should go back east too. And I had a girlfriend at the time, but I was done with high school. And they're like, Daniel, you're going to take your little brother back east,
My parents
just you two.
signed a release for me to be his legal guardian. He's 17, and we're going to the box fan, and we'll be home in 3 months.
Not the greatest idea of ideas.
Well, especially when your
great idea.
girlfriend is cray-cray.
Yeah, I had to
Next-
dump her on the way.
Next level psychopath.
So fast forward through.
What's
that's,
her name?
Anyway, so we take off and we almost die a few times. I mean, I speed this up, but it was the craziest road trip.
we grew up. We became men.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I became a man, and I was also having to parent along the way.
Yeah, but it was cool. Daytona was fun when we got to go do that, and I qualified for a few more mains, and my best finish I think was like 12th or 13th, right? But that was the year, remember, in Atlanta Supercross when I passed Stewart back, I stuffed him back. on the
Yeah,
qualifier.
Stewart got a bad start. Vincent's in 6th or 7th in the heat, and I'm in the other
All I
heat,
hear
so I'm
is this,
watching. You hear this KX125, and I'm on the gate for my moto watching, and I'm like, oh no, here comes Stewart. Stewart passed him, and Vincent, for whatever reason, this is like probably just animosity for like a decade, just T-bones the crap out of him for no reason. Like, and I even was like, you know he was going to get you and pull away, and he's like, I know, but he was sitting there, so I hit him.
He left the door open. Never leave the door open. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're my mom, dude. You're going down.
Yeah, Vincent was mean to the older people, even when he was 15 racing pro at the fair races. All the veterans
hated me.
Like Jeff Pastana hated. Jeff Pastana got taken out by my brother so many times that he had to come over to my dad finally and be like, "Hey, tell him to stop doing this. It's every moto he's taking me out.
Well, get out of my way."
And taking himself. Vincent would hit them both, knock them both down. It was like
he'd stand up
becoming
with
a
his
man.
arms.
We have video of the guy literally getting taken out and just like putting his arms up like, why are you doing this over and over? It was becoming a man. Like, you just hit people.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I remember on the gate watching right in front of me, just blasted Stewart, and I was like, oh.
I'm screwed.
And I'm thinking Stewart's going to T-bone him in the next corner and just end him, and he didn't. He ended up passing him, went all the way to the front and won the heat race.
Yeah,
by whatever.
dominated.
Freak back then, man.
So that year went good, and then that summer also went good. And I ended up getting a Suzuki deal for the next year. But this was the first time I made a bad decision.
The Cowie Suzuki Combo 250 came out.
2005.
And Vincent wanted to ride the Suzuki because of how good it felt. And I'm like, no.
This was the beginning of
stay
my
on the
hate for
Yamaha.
Suzuki.
Stay on the Yamaha. Vincent's like, no, the Suzuki feels so good. I want to do it. And we had a full pro circuit ride that year. Mitch, everything for free, parts, service, motors. It was like
motors we had to pay for, but we got that paid for by us.
That's right.
Deal we got from,
We had
like,
to pay for the
gear
service
sponsor
of the
or
motors. And AXO, I think we both
AXO.
got paid big money by AXO that year. They paid for it.
Because we were the boys in black, dude.
Yeah, we were on TV a lot wearing LBZ gear looking like idiots, man.
No way, dude. Mike Russell's so cool. I still talk to him.
He was cool, but that we still look stupid. It is what it is. But anyways, Vincent makes his first big mistake, which ends up leading to his severed relationship with Mitch Payton forever.
Yeah, screw him.
Tell a story. I'd like to hear.
Hold on. Let's go back real quick. So I had an opportunity to get free Suzuki's, PC bikes, West Coast Supercross.
I remember Pro Circuit had Cowies.
They were Team
So
Cowie, but the
Vincent's
Suzuki
thinking-
was the same bike, just yellow plastic.
So Vincent's like,
Same
well,
bike.
if they're going to be doing Pro Circuit Cowie, I have Pro Circuit. I'll ride the Suzuki because I get free Suzukis. I'll get a good motor package, good suspension, whatever. And I'm like, I ain't riding a new bike. New bikes have problems. I'm going to stick to the Yamaha. It's working fine. I'm not changing.
Right. Anyway, so I'm getting ready for Supercross. I still have the Yamahas. Didn't get the Suzuki deal just yet. But our good friend Buddy Antonez calls you up, I think, and goes, hey, do you want to race Arenacross?
And I said no.
You said no way.
Well, I was hurt when I shattered my heel. So I was coming back from my shattered feet.
Oh, yeah.
So I wouldn't have been ready anyway.
So then you're like, oh, but you're like, Vincent might. So he hits me up, and I'm in LA at the time trying to get something going on. And he goes, hey, come out to wherever track it was. I forget, that kid's house that everyone goes to. I'm brain farting again. So
Paglia.
Yeah, LaPaglia's house. And come ride with whoever was on the team, the team at the time. But it was basically the Geico Honda Arenacross team. But it was the
Full Honda support. But they
factory Honda suspension too, like Japan.
But they had to ride a 250F in the 125 class and a 252 stroke in the other class, and Vincent didn't want to do that. He wanted to ride both 4-strokes, and they said no.
So I went and rode it, and rode really well. Buddy was like, dude, you're going to be top 10 first few rounds and probably on the podium by the end of the year. And I was like, sick. And then he goes, but you got to ride a 252 stroke. And I'm all, no way. Because I wasn't good at switching around, right? And so I turned that down. Come to find out, Shane Best got the ride, but after like the second round, they got 450 Hondas. And so it was 250 and 450 Hondas. I was like, oh my God.
They went to the first couple rounds and got waxed and said, never mind, let's put the 450 in there.
So they bought bikes for them. And I mean, you don't need modded 450s in Arenacross. I mean, that's a little dangerous. And so that was my first bad decision. And then I ended up taking the Suzuki deal and then just not doing good because Mitch gave me a piece of shit bike for the first few rounds. And then once we figured it out, it was a mistake.
It was too late.
It was just too late. And then that was when I was like, F this. I'm kind of over it. This is, there wasn't really much momentum going on. And
18 years old, been through too much.
Yeah. 18 years old. and like I said, I love the sport because of, the beginning part was just because you guys all did it, right? It wasn't like a love, like, man, I will ride till I die. So
like my dumbass.
Yeah. So once that was all done, then I wasn't even going to ride, I think. And then our band started doing shit. And then that was like, oh, I'm such a rocker guy. Started getting tattoos. And we decided to do Supercross. And I started not even making night shows.
Yeah, 2006, we rode 450 Supercross. Both of us, a friend bought us both a Honda 450. And we went out and I think we might have both lasted 3 or 4 rounds in, and then we both just quit for the year.
That was it. I didn't ride anymore.
And we're doing the band. That's when the band started. We were like,
That's when I met your brother.
Yeah, my feet were still messed up from my shattering both my heels in 2004. So I'm over it. Vincent is, if I'm over it, he's definitely over it. And the music thing is starting to take off, and we're just like, screw this. Let's go do a band.
So basically, from here on out, I had to get begged to get back on a dirt bike. And anything that would cause me to get off the dirt bike, I did it. That was kind of like the story. And we end up partying a lot in Modesto, band thing. We become friends with a lot of dudes. Your brother was one of them, Joe. And a good friend of ours, he's like, I'm buying you a bike, and you're going to race this summer to make some extra money. Because I think I was working at the gym at front desk making minimum wage. Couldn't even buy food. And I was like, okay. And we start riding again that summer, and I started doing really well. And then that's when we got the Arenacross deal the next year.
Yeah.
So then I got a little bug in me, and I put my head down. I was not with my girlfriend at the time, so the old me starts coming back, and we decided to go on the road with some friends, and we did the whole entire Arenacross season, which was super fun. ended up getting podiums and like top fives. Got like 10th or 11th in the series. Made some good money, and then decided to race Supercross again.
Oh wait, yeah. So 2007 is this year. Arenacross. Me, Vincent, and Casey Henson went and did the entire Arenacross series, and I didn't do very well. Casey did okay, but Vincent was getting podiums, winning heat races against Danny Smith and Robbie Reynard and all these guys on a 450.
Danny, I think, won the season.
Danny won. That was the infamous year where Tyler Bowers showed up at the final round when he was 15 and just
waxed everybody.
But was T-boning and fighting everybody. That's where he got his original start.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that was 2007. And again, all this time we would always race in the summer, Joe. You knew that we did that. We'd race fairground race in the summer and make money all year. That was just like how we made money to pay for
Joe,
life.
you were around during the Arenacross. Remember Reno show? That was the year that night I got 4th. That was like when I started racing again.
Is that the one he played?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The show that you played with us in Reno, the after party, which was one of the coolest we ever, was the Reno Arenacross after party in 2007. And that's the year Vincent was really good and again made way too much money for a 19-year-old kid to have, and not really know what to do with it.
I was buying guitars, remember?
Dude, just buying
amps. Stupid.
He probably had like $25,000 in the bank and was just, because our whole season was paid for.
And I had
so
your
no
ID.
Expenses.
I had your ID. I could go to downtown Modesto with your ID, dude.
Anyways.
And rich. Buying chicks drinks. Hey, baby.
And then...
Hey, do you still have those amps?
No. Actually, I do have the crank amp still.
So anyways, 2007 ends. 2008, this is when the band ends the first time. I am over it. I don't want to do the band anymore. I want to get back into racing. My feet finally feel good. I'm ready to get back into it wide open. So Vincent's like, okay, well, then I'll get into it wide open too. And we both, 2008, are let's give it a run again. Let's go back in time and go for it together, whatever. And
you blow your knee out, and I just...
No, I didn't.
You hurt your knee, didn't you?
No, I did. 2008 was great, and 2009 was the year I did really good. Whatever, I don't know what happened. All I know is that by the end of the first 5 or 6 West Coast rounds, Vincent quit officially. That was it.
That was it. I was done.
I was doing decent, and he, like, by the 4th round, was like, I don't even want to race. I don't want to race anymore again, ever. And that's when he wanted to move to Vegas because he wanted to do the band thing again, and I didn't. I said, I'm done doing music. I don't want to do it anymore. And he was like, well, then I'm done racing, and I'm going to Vegas, and I'm doing a band on my own.
And I started taking online junior college classes.
That's right.
Like just
basically. And I'm Joe right now building back into 2009, which is the year I did my best, where I got top 10 in points and rode for Geico. It took me a year to build back up so that 2009 went well. Vincent right away was like, I'm done. I'm going to start taking college classes, and I'm moving to Vegas, and I'm going to do music. And weirdly, that's when me and Vincent like split off for the first time ever. We'd done everything together every year forever. He was like my little brother / son in a way, because I took care of him like a guardian.
Yeah.
And right then it was weird, and our relationship kind of severed a little bit because I didn't want to do the band. He was mad at me. He didn't want to race no more.
I wanted rights to the band, so we had to change the band name.
Yeah, he wanted to just replace me and get a new singer, and I'm like, no, you can start a new band without me. But all the shit we've done is staying with the band. Like, you can kiss my ass. So he went off and started his own band without me, which lasted nothing because without me in it, there was zero chance.
Unmarked Roads.
Unmarked Roads.
I'm being cocky.
Best song ever.
No, it's not.
Such a good song.
No, it's not. Anyways, so that's when you start the beginning of the correct chapter, which is going to school and getting your life together. But at the same time, you went hambo because you moved to Vegas you're young, you have money, and you're bar backing at Wasted Space, making bank. And Joe, we'll take another break. We'll come back and we'll kind of close out the end of the racing career into what I guess turning into the sissified biggity hater that he is now.
Sissified biggity.
Main event moto.
I hate to say it, but our NorCal Motoheads are pretty spoiled. Why? Well, where do they ride, Joe?
Riverfront, East Street, and Prairie City. And don't ask me who takes care of them trackside and during the week, because it's EMT Racing.
And who takes care of them trackside during the week, Joe?
Really, man? I literally just said EMT Racing. You didn't hear me?
That's right. If you're from Northern California and support Main Event Moto, then spin your laps at Rep Racing Tracks
buy your bikes and parts from Modesto, Honda, Cowie, KTM, and make sure EMT Racing takes care of your trackside and service needs.
Spin your laps at Rep Racing Tracks. I see what you did there. I like that.
If you're from Northern California and you're a true Motohead, then you better get your bike from Honda, Kawasaki, KTM of Modesto. They also got betas, ATVs, and side-by-sides. And if you don't know how to use Google Maps, well then here, I'll help you out. Visit them off of Carpenter Road in Modesto and see their track support parts trailer at all California Central Valley races. Visit www.hkmodesto.com to apply for the rider team, store deals, and upcoming events. And check them out on Instagram at Honda_Cowie_KTM.
Main Event Moto Podcast.
All right, Vincent. So you go nutsoid in Vegas.
I pretty much become the biggest scumbag loser of all time.
At least of your... How old are you now? 34?
I turned 33 in October.
30? You do or you...
I do.
You're 32 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I know. I have a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I know. I know him. Anyway, so... Yeah, Vincent goes into his worst dark chapter, which eventually is probably the best thing ever, because I think you had to hit, like...
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom. Joe, and you know this, how you went through the period in your 20s where you were just at your worst, and that was almost what bounced you out. You had to go as far bad as possible to go, I got to be done. I got to grow out of this. You know what I mean? That's Vincent. This is when he did that.
You're right. So then I ended up meeting...
Hold on. Let's have some fun with that time. I'd like to talk about that time. It's fun to listen to.
Which part?
All of it. Vegas, bar backing, being wasted, partying with Katy Perry.
Oh my
being
God,
wasted.
I forgot about that.
Working nights only, being wasted.
Yeah, it's also when I learned that if you take an Ambien, make sure you sleep through it, because if you don't, you will hallucinate, and it's scary, by the way.
Anyways, yeah, so he's living in Vegas, working in Vegas, and hits rock bottom, just complete piece of crap. We had no relationship at that time at all.
Yeah, I talked to you like once a month.
And for like 2 minutes, he was like, I don't know, we were just different pages. But my parents kind of came to the rescue and like said, look, you need to
come home.
You need to come home. And at the same time, he meets his wife, which also kind of at the same exact time, it was almost like the hook needed to turn route and fix everything.
Right. So I bail out. I get home, and I'm just taking online courses, but I don't really have a job or anything.
Wait. How long were you in Vegas for?
About 8 months, probably.
8 months. Okay.
Yeah, it was a long 8 months.
What happened on unmarked roads?
Nothing really. I mean, we just kept...
All the talent was gone. What movie is that?
You know what's cool? Actually, what's cool is...
It's Rockstar with Jennifer Aniston. The talent just walked out the room to Mark Wahlberg.
So, what's cool about the Vegas thing, actually, is most of the music that came out later, and still some of the demos and stuff I have on my hard drive are from when I was in Vegas, because I'd be at home all by myself, basically, just writing music, working, or being drunk, and then writing music. That's basically what I did the whole time, and play Warcraft here and there. So I get home, and I don't know what to do other than go to school, but that doesn't make you money. So sure enough, someone goes, I'm buying you a bike, and you're going to race again for fun. And I was like,
who was it that time?
Sean.
Oh,
KTM
that's right.
450.
That's right.
And what do? First race back in like 2 weeks, I hold you off for the whole moto. Remember at Hangtown? And
nope, I don't remember that, but
yeah, so it was like at Hangtown, and I almost smoked your ass, but I was out of shape. Anyways, little tiny mini spark again comes in, and they're like, dude, race Hangtown. You can do this. So I was like, okay.
Oh, that's right. I forgot this.
Yeah, so I start going to the gym again. I'm training hard and dialing in the bike. And that's when Trey Kennard and Greg Albertson come up to get ready for Hangtown.
Jimmy Albertson.
Or what did I say, Jeremy? Jimmy.
Greg was there, but Jimmy and Trey were traveling
road
together.
tripping,
And they were...
My bad.
They came up and
Sorry, Jimmy.
before Hangtown, they were riding local tracks around here to get ready for Hangtown.
It's just because me and Greg have the same birthday and we have a thing. So anyways, I'm getting ready, and sure enough, I'm like the same lap time as Kennard, even though he's on a 250. But I think he won the championship that year, no?
Yeah, he did.
So sure enough, here I am again. Things are lining up. Everything's great. And 1 week before Hangtown, which I was like, dude, I'm going to qualify and probably get top 20 if I ride like this. Bike sees in the air, snap my ankle.
What?
I was there at Club Moto. Bike sees on the jump.
Greg was there. You can ask him about it. It was one of the worst crashes ever, dude. I hit the ground so hard that my Scott goggle rim cut my whole face, around the whole face, and bruised it for like 3 weeks.
He had a goggle frame bruise around his face.
Wow. I hit the ground so hard that my bottom teeth cut my upper lip and got stuck in my lip. I had to pull my lips off my teeth.
God.
And then snapped my talus, had surgery. Motocross.
Now y'all understand.
And that was it. Because I remember going to the hospital like, why, dude? And that was the final moment where I was like, you know what? Okay, God, I'm taking this as a sign. I am not supposed to ride a dirt bike. I didn't fall in love with it for the right reason. And I always get into it. And when things look like, hey, things might get good, you stop me. And that's it. So from then on out, I don't like dirt bikes anymore. That's pretty much it.
And
you will never, ever see me on a dirt bike probably ever again.
And then he went to school, got a job that he hates, and now he hates every day.
Yeah, now I x-ray all these druggies.
I'll say this for you, bro. You gave it enough chances.
I know, right?
To like know for sure. You know, you didn't stop after the first one.
Yeah.
The first C's up in the air would have been like, yeah,
bad luck, random.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
And then again and again and again, you know. So
he needed to know.
I would say that you gave it enough shots.
He needed to know for sure, Joe.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus,
props to you for that, bro.
Plus, I wasn't a good enough rider. I mean, at my best, I was making a few mains here and there. I wasn't like the greatest. But here's another tidbit of advice if anyone's listening. So if you listen to what I just did, I amateur national championships, same lap times as these guys, and whatever my luck and circumstance, but I wasn't even 1% close to being successful in the sport. And I had all these things.
Making a living in it.
Yeah. So if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, my kid and this and that and whatever, probably not even one hair close.
Jeez.
You know what I mean?
Most graphic thing ever said on the show.
As much as I want to...
And we've had Nick on.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard in the back cave.
But I'm very passionate now about making sure people know the reality that I wasn't even close to making it in motocross. I'm not even nearly good enough to making it in motocross. And I had such
potential
opportunity. Yeah. So good luck out there.
Yeah.
So now, like, I guess now that I didn't really like the sport that much, it was so easy for me to get out of it. And I knew that I needed to get into school. And since I broke so many bones, one of the x-ray techs at my surgeon's was like, dude, because I broke my rib at the time. He was like, dude, go to school, become an x-ray tech. It's super fun. You're just taking photos. It's, it's science-based. I'm like, yeah, dude, take a picture of bones. No problem, dude.
Vincent was sick of getting x-rayed. He's like, I could get paid to be on the other side of this thing and x-ray people?
Little did I know that x-ray requires other things like barium enemas.
There we go, Joe.
It
always goes to
always.
All these.
I think he likes it, dude. I think he brings it up every chance he gets. Yeah, I think he actually likes it.
Dude, I love the moment when it's time. I take that penis-shaped, flesh-colored catheter.
All right.
And I just twiddle it in the lube, dude.
Stop.
Extra lube. All right, buddy, I'm going to expose you.
All right. Well.
No, I do not like to do that. And now I just deal with losers by the day.
All right, well, we'll talk about those losers on the main show, which you're going to stick around for, right, still?
Atta baby.
Okay, cool. Anyways, Joe, that's what I wanted to do, is give everybody a chance to hear Vincent's backstory so they understand that he does know what he's talking about. He might not be up on current events, but he wasn't like some squid. He was just... He got hurt a lot, and he partied too much. But he actually does know what he's talking about. So
that's a crazy story.
Anyways, next week we will talk about Motocross of Nations at length. We'll also preview Red Bull Straight Rhythm. We'll talk about Monster Cup that's coming up. Eric and I is going to be in. It'll be great. So for episode 135, I want to give a huge shout out to Nature's Bakery, Fly Racing, Skivvy Underwears, Mika Metal, Scott USA, No Toil, Honda, Cowie, KTM of Modesto, Guts Racing, EMT Racing, Key Bar, Rep Racing, and Motosport.com. And Joe, what did we want to say to the people about the main show again? We've been getting hit up. You've got to search the App Store. It's our own app. It's not a podcast in the podcast channels, right?
Right.
I know you got hit up this week by a bunch, so did I. It's its own app. So search the Apple App Store or the Google Play App Store and search the main show, and that's where it is. It's not a podcast that can be found in the podcast links. It's its own show. It's its own app. It's the only way to find it. So Vincent's going to come on there for a little while. I'm on my way to Florida. So we'll...
What are you doing in Florida?
FBI, CIA covert mission.
Selling drugs?
Mm-hmm.
Added on.
Yeah, all right. Selling drugs.
Main event, Moto. Screw it. You know it by now.